It was back in 2005 when all of the players in Major League Baseball decided collectively to wear the number 42. It didn't matter who they were, and it was in honor of the great Jackie Robinson, who on this date back in 1947 broke the color barrier and not only changed baseball, but may have helped change society. The players have bought in, the umpires have bought in, and even the fans have bought into the great legacy of Jackie Robinson. We'll talk a lot about it tonight. We'll also talk a lot about what happened yesterday here at Citizens Bank Park. Vince Velasquez was unbelievable. 16 strikeouts. He had 25 swings and misses. In fact, the last 4 innings, he struck out 9 batters. Not too many folks in the history of the Philadelphia Phillies have struck out 16 and didn't walk anybody in a shutout. So it is still buzzing here at the ballpark. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom McCarthy, joined by Matt Stairs. Starting pitching has been the huge storyline for the Phillies so far this season. Who would have thought that 10 games into the season, the Phils starting pitching would be the best in the National League?
Well, it's amazing. They went into spring training. There were some question marks what was going to happen. Charlie Morton was one of the guys, if he's going to go out and throw that power sinker. Vince Velasquez, is he going to be the number 5 guy? But all these guys have gone out, especially the last 3 starts, is dominant and pound the strike zone. Yes, Charlie Morton had 4 walks, but his baseball moves so much out of the zone. He gets a lot of weird swings, and if you don't swing at it, sometimes it goes out of the zone. But I like the fact that Eichhoff and Vince Velasquez, 0 walks. They're very aggressive going in there, overpowering hitters. Now, Jeremy Hellickson, on the other hand, is a guy that relies on finesse. He has a great curveball. This game on Sunday in New York, he had an unbelievable curveball working. He was keeping the hitters off balance, but I think the curveball was coming. He would throw a cutter away, sinker away, keeping them off balance. A very strong outing. What I really like about his starts this year is last year, 0.4% of the time he threw cutters. This year, 12.4% of the time he's throwing cutters. So now he has the inside to left-handers, which opens up the outside to the strike zone.
All right, we saw Carlos Ruiz was the catcher on Sunday. He's the catcher again today. His game plan was fantastic with Jeremy Hellickson. We'll see if that continues tonight. It's a pretty good test for the Phils. It's game 1 of a 3-game series against the Washington Nationals. Well, how about Ryan Howard and what he's been able to accomplish? Yes, his average is low, but his power numbers are right up there. He's back in the lineups, which we'll get to when we return. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. By Toyota. Toyota's hybrid fleet is nothing short of a home run. Visit your local Toyota dealer today. By Citizens Bank. The next time you have a question about money, don't keep it to yourself. Ask a citizen. And by Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. Learn more at IBX.com. Game series between the Phils and the Washington Nationals. The first time these two teams will meet, the first of many times these two teams will meet. The Nationals so far are sitting in first place, 3 games ahead of the Phillies at 7-1. In fact, their 7-1 record is second only to the Chicago Cubs as far as marks go in the National League. So the Phillies will take the field tonight. Each player, including Jeremy Hellickson, the starting pitcher, will wear the number 42. The umpires will wear the number 42, and so will the Nationals players. Let's take a look at their lineup, brought to you by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. Michael Tower leads it off at center, then Anthony Rendon and Bryce Harper. Ryan Zimmerman bats cleanup. Daniel Murphy hits 5th. Jason Worth will bat 6th. In the bottom third of Wilson Ramos, Danny Espinosa, and Joe Ross. And they will face Phillies right-hander Jeremy Hellickson, so far 1-0. with an ERA of 1.54. He's been very good in his 2 starts, trying to get a little deeper in the game. He was right around the strike zone in that game against the Mets this past weekend, this past Sunday. And that helped fuel, I think, the way the Phillies played on the homestand. Velasquez started it, Hellickson fueled it, and then the Phillies, the rest of the staff took it from there.
I would agree. He's a guy that, you see the scouting report, he just throws strikes. He doesn't use a lot of fastballs. He doesn't use a lot of cutters, curves, and changes. He uses them all equal. And what I really like this year about Hellickson is that he's using his cutter now. And last year he used his cutter 0.4% of the time. This year he's almost at 13%. And oh, by the way, he's hitting 500 on this early season.
I'll tell you, you brought it up, how well the pitchers are hitting, the Phillies pitchers are hitting, and he's part of that. Well, it's time now for our Nissan keys to this evening's game.
Well, we're going to stick with the Hellickson thing about pound the strike zone. Use that fastball. The league's hitting $190 versus his fastball uses it 44.7% of the time, and mix it up versus Harper. You know, when I watch Harper play, he is probably the best player in baseball. Fastballs, he's hitting 200. Off-speed pitches, he's hitting 308, which tells me he sits on a lot of off-speed pitches.
Which I find remarkable, considering how well he hits anything. I mean, what we've seen, anything.
Right, but he also he's thinking backwards as well. When you get in a hitter's count, now he's going to start sitting off-speed pitches because he is one guy in the lineup you need to stay away from.
Well, here we go. The first of this 3-game series, the continuation of a long homestand for the Phils. 3 against the Nationals after 4 against the Padres, and then 3 beginning Monday against the New York Mets. Michael Taylor will lead things off for the Nats, and the first pitch of the night is down low. And it's 1 ball and no strikes. We're underway. Taylor hitting a .138 with no homers and 1 RBI. He had 3 hits in the series against the Braves that the Nationals just finished up. And that one is pulled deep to left field, and the Nationals will have a 1-0 lead. First home run of the year for Michael Taylor. He's a little different leadoff hitter than Ben Revere, where he will
attack.
So the Nationals strike first, and that'll bring Anthony Rendon to the plate.
A little slider right down the middle of the plate. Taylor's got some good speed, quick bat. Early 1-0 lead.
Here's Rendon. Rendon had just 1 hit in the series against the Braves. The Nationals have faced the Braves 6 times already this year. That's part of the reason why they are 7-1. Because the Braves have not won a game this year. They're 0-9. 1 ball and no strikes to Rendon, hitting .258. And it's 2-0. Dusty Baker in his first year as the skipper of the Nationals, 21st season as a major league manager, and he's been excellent wherever he's been. I mean, there have been years where he's had a losing record, but not many. Whether it be with the Cubs, the Reds, the Giants.
Well, it helps when you have a great personality. You get along with everyone and you're a player's manager.
That one's lined to third, caught by Michael Franco, who, if he wasn't awake, is now. 1 gone here in the top of the first.
This ball's a missile. Fastball down and in. Good reaction right there.
Here's Bryce Harper. Harper already with 3 home runs, 9 runs batted in. He hit his 100th career home run in the series against the Braves. Why is that significant? Well, because he's still really young. And to do it as quickly as he's been able to do it says an awful lot for his abilities. And if he was sitting breaking ball, he got one. And he pulls it into right field for a single. So second hit for Washington. And that'll bring Ryan Zimmerman into the plate. Well, here is Harper's grand slam yesterday that resulted in his 100th home run. Yeah. Wow.
It's amazing, though, when you make mistakes to great hitters or very, very good hitters, they destroy the baseball. Supposed to be a fastball away, came back in the middle of the plate. First grand slam of his career.
I was surprised to see that. I mean, just because of how good of a hitter he is. At the age of 23, he has 100 home runs. Ryan Zimmerman takes down low, and there you see the youngest players to reach 100 home runs. Mel Ott is the pace setter. But Bryce Harper joins the likes of Johnny Bench, Miguel Cabrera, Andrew Jones, A-Rod. 1 ball and no strikes to Ryan Zimmerman. Third ball at 75 miles an hour. Zimmerman had 3 hits and 9 at-bats against the Braves this past week, overall hitting .261.
It's so important for Ryan Zimmerman to stay healthy, of course. Not just because of his bat, but it's his name in the lineup, knowing that he has that thunder. He strengthens it. He hits in the middle of the order. Now all of a sudden you can break the lefty, righty, lefty up. He needs to stay healthy and playing first base. It is going to help him.
Shame of it is for him is that he was such a good third baseman, except for the throws.
Yeah.
He can do everything except for throw the ball over to first base. And it just seemed like when Adam LaRoche left, there was no way that he could stay at third. I mean, they opened it up for him to move to first. But LaRoche saved him so many times over at first base. 2 balls and 1 strike. Ellickson's got to be careful here. Out front, and it's 2-2. Pete Buchanan, his team is after starting 0-4, has won 5 of its last 6 ball games. And they've done so because of their pitching. They're timely hitting too, but they haven't scored a boatload of runs. There's Velasquez, who is soaking in and back to work right away today after the 16 strikeouts. Back toward the middle, off the mound, a base hit. Harper will stop at second base. So first and second with 1 out. And Jason Worth is coming up.
It's early, but right now he's going to make the adjustment. His mistakes. The curveball to Bryce Harper was in her third. Luckily didn't get crushed out of the ballpark. He's missing with his pitches right over the plate. He's making some quality pitches to get ahead, but now all of a sudden, like with Zimmerman, he gets 2-2. Got to make a better pitch.
I think the other thing too is he's trying to establish that fastball, but it's low.
Yes.
And Joe West is not giving him the low strike zone.
Yeah, great point.
Daniel Murphy, who signed a 3-year contract as a free agent this past offseason with the Nats, takes inside 1-0. Murphy last year with the Mets hit .281 with 14 home runs. 10 for his last 18, which has brought his average to .480. Now that's the way to start a season. balls and no strikes. Boy, these pitches are awfully close that Hellickson's throwing. In fact, Carlos Ruiz is saying something to Joe West. Joe West is usually a very good ball strike umpire. He's got to creep his eyes down a little bit, though. He's the crew chief. Kerwin Danley's at first. Andy Fletcher's at second. Mark Ripperger's around at third. 3 balls, no strikes to Murphy with runners on first and second. And there is ball 4. And that will load up the bases for Jason Worth. I think Jeremy Hellickson's asking Ruiz right now, where were those pitches? We're also going over a scouting report on Worth.
Well, out of the first 5 hitters so far, we've seen 4 first pitch fastballs out of the zone. The only pitch is thrown for a strike is a curveball, which was crushed to right field. This is the pitch right here you need to be very careful with.
Absolutely.
Jason usually doesn't take a lot of pitches, but he will jump all over a first pitch, especially with guys in scoring position.
Well, he's got 2 in scoring position right now. The base is loaded. Breaking ball in there for a strike. It's 0-1. Jason has played more years with the Nationals than the Phils. The Phils, he spent 4 seasons here in Philadelphia. 95 career home runs. So he had more home runs with the Phillies in 4 years than in the 6 years with the Nats. Inside, 1-1. He still has 1 more year left on his contract that he signed with the Nationals. It was a 7-year deal, $126 million.
Good for him.
Runners lead off. 1 ball, 1 strike. In the air to left center field. Going back on it is Cedric Hunter into the alleyway. He's not going to get it, and it's going to be a 1-hop off the wall. 1 run is in. 2 runs will score. Murphy to third, being waved home. Throw to the plate, offline. It hits him, and it rolls to the right of the mound, and Worth will stop at third base. It'll be a bases clearing double for Jason Worth, and the Phillies are now down 4-0 here in the top of the first inning, and still 1 man down.
Fastball in off the plate.
He thought it was career home run.
He thought he got it.
Yeah. Thought it was career home run number 200. Bob McClure heading out to the mound. So Hellickson's given up a 4 spot. Well, this is no doubt a very good lineup that the Nationals have put together. And they're showing it right here in the first. That'll bring Wilson Ramos to the plate. Ramos has hit in 5 of the last 7. In fact, he's the hottest hitter right now for the Nats, at least over the last 3 games. Look at his numbers. 407 with a home run and 5 RBIs. Phillies will play the infield in the dirt, and it's 1-0.
You know, early in the season, you want to get off to such a good start because you know that it's not going to stay that long. But to get off in 4+, knowing that you go a couple of games over, it's going to dip down to 370. My bad. Now all of a sudden you lock it back in again.
Off speed pitch, 1-1. Well, that's what Pete Buchanan's pitching staff has done the last 3 games against a different team, the Padres. They allowed 1 run and 4 here in the first inning. At the knees, 2-2.
Well, and against the Padres, they were very aggressive first pitch. And now all of a sudden you're in the 7th hitter and you've thrown first pitch strike 1 time. And that was hit to be a missile by Bryce Harper. So for guys that aren't overpowering and they need to rely on spotting the fastball, using the curveball and change, that's why it's so important to get ahead.
Back toward the middle, flagged down by Hellickson. He'll look Worth back to third, and there are 2 outs. And that'll bring Danny Espinosa to the plate.
Good fielding position right here. Good position. Hits a 1 hopper back to him. Does a nice job of making sure J-Dub is not going on contact.
Espinosa playing shortstop for the Nationals this year if they let Ian Desmond go. He was a second baseman but a shortstop in college, so this isn't new to him. And as he came up through the system, he was a shortstop. No balls and 1 strike.
Just by watching the Nats hitters so far, they're not even offering at the fastballs early in the count. That's where it comes down to. You break down the pitch use for Hellickson. There's no need to sit fastball early.
1 ball and 2 strikes.
Which, you know, and really, if you don't have to sit fastball, so you're going to sit cutter, curve, or change. You know, he uses 20%, 22%, 12%, you know, whatever. A guy throws, the average is 88. You can adjust to that. Guys that throw mid-90s, no. Good pitch.
Well, he's fighting Joe West in this inning. And it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. I'm not saying that it would have changed a whole lot early on in this inning, but there have been some, particularly the first few hitters, there's some close pitches. Two balls, 2 strikes. And that's low, 3-2.
So honestly, and I'm going to talk more about these pitches, the way they're taking pitches, seems like they know what's coming. That pitch right there is a good changeup. That's at the bottom of the zone. He didn't even think about swinging at that pitch.
Curve ball hit in the air to center field. That'll drop for a hit. Worth will score. And Espinosa has an RBI single. It's now 5-0 Washington. And they have batted around here in the first inning, as Joe Ross will bat the starting pitcher.
Again, 3-2 curveball. Doesn't even get fooled.
Now, he was set up perfectly for it. I mean, comfortably for it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, usually you get a 3-2 curveball. You know, the butt leaves a little bit. You might hit off the end of the nose. I mean, he barreled that, and he was out over home plate, recognizing it was a curveball.
Well, now Ross, the pitcher, who's 1 for 3 so far. He takes a strike. It's 0-1. Five runs on 5 hits for the Nationals here in the first.
They say this young man right here, Ross, tremendous athlete, very good hitter.
He's a lot like his brother Tyson from the Padres. Also a very good athlete. The ball's at 2 strikes. Runner leads off first. And a tapper up the third baseline foul. So Espinosa will go back to first base. He sure does take a pretty good swing.
That's a very nice swing right there. Kind of looks like Ian Desmond standing in there.
Well, let's hope he doesn't hit like Ian Desmond.
Well, let's hope he hits like Ian Desmond early in the season.
Yeah, that's a good point. Curveball in the dirt. It's 1-2. Well, he didn't even sniff at that.
No, he did.
This is a 36 pitch first inning. About to see number 37 right here.
It's an 80-mile-an-hour changeup. Right on it. Now, I mean, I've played with Worth, I played with Zimmerman, I played with Harper, Ramos, Espinosa. They're all very good at picking up pitches. And I'm not saying they know what's coming, but for me, what I've seen this swing so far,
they got a pretty good idea.
Very good.
Runner goes, pitch is hit down the right field line by Ross. This is going to be a foul ball. If that's the case, I don't know what you do if you're a pitcher. I don't know how you change so they can't pick it up in mid-game.
Well, this is a fastball out off the plate. He's talking to it. See, he wasn't talking nicely to it.
His coaxing was not beneficial.
You need to mix in a couple, please get down. Sit, please.
Well, this will be the 9th pitch of the at-bat. In the dirt, and it's 2-2. Well, Brett Oberholzer hasn't pitched that much this year. He had one outing. It was a lengthy one. He's probably going to pitch tonight. At least if this first inning is any indication. That ball is smoked inside the third base bag. Cedric Hunter will pick it up. Going to third base is Espinosa. The second is Ross. Second and third with 2 men down. They got to get somebody up. I'm surprised they hadn't got anybody up earlier. It's a 10 pitch at bat. A 10 pitch at bat for the opposing pitcher. And now the guy that started the game with a home run is going to get a second at bat.
That's a missile. And the scouting report is that he can hit a fastball very good, and he's a very good hitter. Well, he's proved it there.
Well, there is Oberholzer. So he'll start the throw. Fastball in there for a strike. It's 0-1.
Not very often you see a leadoff hitter with an overshift on your infielders. And Ryan's playing way off first base. Usually your second baseman's over here.
At this rate, they may play everybody with an overshift. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Taylor. Outside, and it's 2-2. Last year with the Diamondbacks, there was only one game in which Hellickson lasted only 1 inning. It was against the San Diego Padres. He allowed 5 runs in the first. Back towards shortstop. Galvis has got it. Hurries the throw in time, and the inning is finally over. 10 men come to the plate, though, for the Nationals in the second. Jason Worth had one of the big hits. It was a bases clearing double. Picked up 3 RBIs. 45 pitch first inning. Jeremy Hellickson, the Phillies coming up for the first time. We go to the bottom of the first inning, and let's take a look at the Phillies lineup. It's brought to you by Xfinity. The Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. Burris, Galvis, and Herrera, followed by Franco, Howard, and Ruiz. At the bottom third of Cedric Hunter, Peter Borges, and Jeremy Hellickson's spot in the lineup. And they will face Joe Ross, who we've already seen connect on a double. 7 innings in his first outing, 5 strikeouts. The Nationals got him from the Padres, and he's a pretty good get.
Very good get. That's a tremendous fastball. 3-pitch pitcher, averages around 93.4. Uses his fastball 61% of the time and his slider 29% of the time. And he is well hitting 500 on the early season.
Well, Jeremy Hellickson keeping that arm warm. Pete McCadden and Bob McClure both came over to chat with him. Maybe between innings.
Now, whatever game plan you had as a hitter, it's just changed.
Well, what is it now?
Patience. You can't go out there and jump all over the first pitch. You need to work the count. You need to get Hellickson a chance to catch his breath.
Pitch low, 1 ball, no strikes. Burris is hitless so far. He's 0 for 5. Played last year with the Nationals. He is a D.C. native. In fact, he went to Woodrow Wilson High School in Washington, D.C. Fouls it away. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. Except if you're looking for your first knock, Matt. Then you're going to go after the first fastball you see.
Me personally, I never changed. If I was going to get a good pitch to hit, I was going to take a hack at it. That was a good pitch to hit.
We had no idea. He was absolutely perfect.
Up and away, and it's 2-1.
The nice thing about as a hitter stepping in the batter's box, when the pitcher has a 5-0 lead, you see a lot of heaters because he wants to help the hitter put the ball in place. That's why you have a tendency to see a lot more fastballs.
Well, and you're down 5-0 at this point. I mean, the goal is to get runs, but it's also to try to get a run or two here in this inning just to kind of alleviate the pain somewhat.
Absolutely. So you might as well jump all over this fastball and make it 5-1.
Out to left field, Jason Worth waits for it and 1 away. The Lucky McDonald's Phillies home run jackpot contestant is Brad Edwards of Linwood, New Jersey. Phillies hit a home run in today's ball game, and Brad will win $100. It's turned out to be a nice night. It was a beautiful day here in the Delaware Valley. We'll have great weather tomorrow, great weather on Sunday. Freddie Galvis hitting 280 or 182. The home run and 3 RBIs. He was 1 for 9 in the recent series against the Padres. Inside. Well, he's got good life on his fastball. Ross, 6'4", 225 pounds. He's 22 years old, out of Oakland, California. And a line drive caught. Well, I don't know if he caught it or it caught him. Danny Espinosa is able to flag it down. 2 away. And Odubel Herrera is due up.
It's a missile. You know you hit a ball hard when you don't get your glove up really, really early enough.
Boy, he's lucky he caught that.
But nice play by number 42.
Odubel's numbers 242, somewhat misleading because he's getting on base. You see his on base percentage 390. He's walked 8 times this year. Takes low, 1 ball, no strikes. Toyota Major League Scoreboard, they're still playing day games on Friday afternoons at Wrigley Field, and the Rockies defeated the Cubs 6-1. Chad Bettis, 6 innings, 4 strikeouts for the Rockies. Carlos Gonzalez has extended his hitting streak to 10 games. Cubs had won 5 straight, but if they committed 4 errors, you're going to commit 4 errors, you're going to be a little bit of trouble. One-two pitch to Herrera. Back toward the middle, and that's a base hit. So Odubel's aboard, a 2-out single. And Maikel Franco will be the hitter.
Interesting pitch sequence. The pitch before that, Ramos calls a changeup. Goes a 90-mile-an-hour changeup. That one there he calls a fastball up and in. Just didn't get it up and didn't get it in far enough. Can you imagine a 90-mile-an-hour changeup? Come on.
That's some arm speed right there.
It used to be an average fastball.
Yeah, that's exactly right. We're hoping that bell rings a few times, including at the end of the game. Franco waves at the first pitch. First pitch slider from Joe Ross. Franco had a pretty good series against the Padres. He had 5 hits and 15 at-bats. A home run, 3 RBIs. Fastball at the knees, and it's 0-2. So Joe West now calling that low strike. Got a better view of it now. Practice makes perfect, Matt.
There you go. Tough to run on these two guys with Joe and Ramos behind the plate. Ramos, of course, with the cannon.
Now it's pulled his shortstop. Franco broke his bat, and the side is retired. 6-4 on the putout at second base. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 man left. On to the second, 5-0. Nationals on top. Velasquez struck out 16 batters, including 9 in the last 4 innings. He was incredible. His fastball just kept on getting better and better, and his breaking pitch was very good, Matt, late in the ball game, and that certainly helped his cause. I mean, 23 years old. I mean, he recognized not only the importance of getting off to a good start, but his first 2 games have been outstanding. And speaking of the 16 Ks, in celebration of that amazing strikeout performance, the Phillies have a special offer of $16 tickets to his next scheduled start on Tuesday against the New York Mets. Go to Phillies.com/Vince offer to place your order. Andy Rendon fouls the first pitch, and it's 0-1. That's the great thing
promo.
Well, but it's a great thing about a power pitch. You're just getting better and better as the game goes on.
And they always say power pitches, you have to get on early because he's not loose yet. Well, I think in the first inning, he was pretty loose, throwing 95, 96.
No question. No balls and 1 strike to Rendon. He lined out to third. His only time up. Outside, 1-1. 45 pitches in the first inning for Jeremy Hellickson. 1-2. Fastball's topping out at 89 miles an hour. Last 2 days, Velasquez and Hellickson, a little different story, but still plenty of time. On the outside corner, a called strike 3. One away. Bryce Harper's coming up. Let's check in with Greg Murphy. Murph.
All right, thanks a lot, Tom. Well, you're talking about Vince Velasquez, and it certainly was fun to watch yesterday. A terrific outing. Starting pitching has been very good up to this point this season, but Velasquez probably was the best. How about this number? He's the 4th major leaguer since 1893 to throw a complete game shutout with 16 strikeouts or more, less than 3 hits, and no walks. There's only 3 other guys that have done it: Kerry Wood, Max Scherzer, and Roger Clemens. Pretty good company. And Matt, you were just talking about his fastball use. Started off the first 3 innings using it 79% of the time, and then it went down a little bit in the middle third, 68%, and then to 62% as he started mixing in that changeup and that curve. But the cool thing about it, never lost the velocity. In fact, over the last 6 innings, that velocity went up a little bit, and I think that final pitch he threw to end the game, 96 miles per hour. It was consistent, and it certainly was a lot of fun to be here and watch that.
0-1 to Bryce Harper. 0-2 to Bryce Harper.
And that's where I break down. Okay, a power pitcher is a true power pitcher, that he can maintain the velocity from pitch 1 to, what did he throw, 123 yesterday?
113.
113. That's a power pitcher.
Yep. Fly ball center field. Odubel Herrera is there. In fact, he went back a little too far and puts it away for the second out. Well, some other notes, and these have been popping up the last 24 hours. One of only 2 pitchers since 2000 to toss a complete game with 16 or more strikeouts and 0 walks. 25 strikeouts to his first 2 starts. We talked about this yesterday. Jim Bunning was the last one to reach 20 in 2 starts, and he had exactly 20. 16 strikeouts, the most by a Phil since Cliff Lee in 2011. And he's begun his Phillies career with 15 scoreless. Marty Bystrom did that in 80, and that was later in the year. Here's Ryan Zimmerman outside, 1 ball and no strikes to Zimmerman, who singled and scored. And with all that, you heard his interview yesterday with Murph. He was on WIP earlier today. Talked to the members of the media yesterday after the game. He's already shown that he can handle himself too.
Yes, that he has.
2-0 to Zimmerman.
One stat you didn't have on there is,
we couldn't put them all on there, Matt.
When's the last time a guy threw a complete game, struck out 16, no walks, 3 hits, and got his first major league knock?
Oh, okay. We didn't put that one on there.
You always got to think about the hitting.
We're going to check with our research department on that one.
Good changeup.
Yep, off-speed pitch, 2-1. Carl, you on that one? 16 strikeouts, no walks, first major league hit. You going to check on that one? Carl Graver, our statistician. We woke him up. 2-1 pitch to Zimmerman, and it's low, 3-1. Do you already have the answer? He's writing something down. No, he doesn't. He's writing something else down. I heard him whispering 45 pitches in the first inning, so I don't know if we want that one. Now, we don't normally say anything about the umpires. I'm a big fan of Joe West's strike zone. He's broadening it, though. This is a little different than the first inning.
A little bit.
A little bit.
A little bit, yes.
Here comes the 3-2 pitch to Zimmerman. And he fouls it off to the right.
I figure, hitters take a while to get loose hitting. Pitchers get a little while loose getting pitching. Well, the umpires, they get a little looser as the game goes on. Whatever.
A little tight. Swing and a miss. He got him. Well, it turned out to be an excellent second inning for Jeremy Hellickson. He retired the Nationals in order, picked up a couple strikeouts along the way. He started off by getting Rendon, and then he got Zimmerman swinging. On to the bottom of the second. Phillies trail it 5-0. As we go to the bottom of the second inning, the Nats lead it 5-0. The Phillies with 1 hit, the Nationals with 6. Ryan Howard will lead it off, and he takes a strike. It's 0-1. Howard, a couple RBIs in yesterday's game, 3 home runs, 6 RBIs so far, 360 career home runs. He's 1 away from Joe DiMaggio. Ryan just said that's not a strike. And Howard is struck out. First strikeout for Ross. 1 gone here in the second. They'll bring Carlos Ruiz to the plate. Seats still available for tomorrow's game and for Sunday's game. We mentioned the weather's going to be great. It's a nice crowd filing in for tonight's ball game between the Phils and the Nats.
Hopefully the people that are filing in have missed the fireworks already from the Nats.
Carlos hits one out toward the right side, and it's flagged down by Daniel Murphy. Makes a nice diving stab, and there are 2 outs here in the second.
Nice play. But a little slow motion.
Yeah, kind of. Cedric Hunter will be the hitter. Hunter 0 for 7 against the Padres. Got a little bit of a hitless streak going here. 0 for his last 16.
Been there, done it. Doubled it.
Chopper foul past Mickey Morandini.
Was it yesterday's game where he laid the great bunt down?
Yes, and that was a fantastic play by Bethancourt.
Unbelievable.
Actually, it may have been the day before, but yeah, it was the day before. Still, it was a very good bunt. I think we were all in just shock and awe.
So was Cedric. Because he knew when it came off his barrel.
He's like, I got this.
That's a knock.
Yeah. Great weapon to have.
Still would like to see him get that top hand going through the zone. A lot of weak fly balls to left field. Barrels dropping.
Check swing. Did he go? Yes, he did. Joe West didn't even ask for help. He decided to make the call himself. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Ross. Nationals watch the Phillies go down in order. We'll head to the 3rd. Trivia question. Log on to Phillies.com. Go to the fans section for all the information, and please submit your answer on the subject line. Look out, Matt. Here we go. The question is, what Phillies pitcher did Bryce Harper hit his 40th home run off last season? 40th home run last year. Who did he give it up? Who did he hit it against? Answer will be revealed in just a little bit. Those are the glasses they gave out last year, right?
Yep.
Here's Daniel Murphy to start it off in the 3rd for the Nats. First pitch is a fastball for a strike.
Can I get a hint?
I'll give you a hint.
What month? Depends on if he got traded or not. Or...
I will say that he didn't get traded, but he is no longer with the Phillies organization. 0-2. Matt is submitting his answer. Left side of the infield, Franco and Galvis are there. It'll be Franco who will give. I swore I wasn't going to, and I did. Franco who gives way to Galvis, who makes the catch. Seriously, who did you think was going to catch that?
Freddie.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. The only reason why is.
Well, he should have, but.
The only reason why is because I watched how Michael put his arms.
It's very funny though when they do it. Jason Worth takes low. They got this little shtick going between the two of them.
Well, it started in Texas with the third baseman.
Andrews and Beltran. There's a base hit for Worth to left field. He's going to have his second double of the night. And he'll pull in his second with a 1-out extra base hit. First 2 doubles of the year for Worth. Saturday night, the Flyers continue their battle in D.C. against the Caps in Game 2. Total Flyers playoff coverage begins tomorrow at 6, right here on Comcast Sportsnet. We will be on the Comcast network tomorrow at 7 o'clock. You going to break down last night's game for us?
I don't think I can on air.
That bad, huh?
No, it wasn't that bad. Washington played very well last night. First period, power play.
Yeah, power plays. Breaking ball to Ramos. And it's 1-0.
Everyone talks about how the Flyers outplayed Washington in the first period. Well, at the end of the first period, it was 0-0. So,
how many power plays in the first period?
it was 3.
3?
Yep. And I wasn't a big fan of that fight with 6 minutes and 39 seconds left. That was tough.
Just a bit outside. It's 2-0 to Ramos. Ramos hit one sharply back to the mound his first time up. It was snagged by Hellickson. 2 balls, no strikes. He threw it to the same spot as the last pitch. Well, maybe not exactly the same spot, but close.
Same area. Wow, how many signs you got? That was about 5 shakeoffs.
Swing and a miss. 2-2. Soft and softer there with those last 2 pitches.
Now going through a mind of a hitter, you're thinking, okay, you need to stay back. You need to recognize the pitch. You're telling yourself to stay back. Great time to throw an elevated fastball.
But it's got to be elevated.
But it has to be elevated.
He steps off again. Now Carlos going out to talk to Hellickson. They're not on the same page with these last couple pitches.
A lot of times you take a big wild swing at a changeup or you jump it after a curveball. The first thing you do is you say stay back on the backside. Use your hands, recognize the pitch. Now all of a sudden you start thinking that, and what happens? You're too late to swing at a heater.
Well, you see the distribution of pitches so far. 54% of the pitches that he's thrown have been fastballs. Over to third, and it's off the glove of Maikel Franco. He let it play him. Worth to third base, and Hunter's throws going to second, and Worth will score. And it's 6-0 Washington. I don't know if Cedric just didn't realize that the third base coach was waving Worth, but he had a play at the plate if he decided to go home. And Maikel let that ball play him instead of aggressively playing it. And Bob McClure back to the phone, and Oberholzer's going to start warming up again.
Yeah, he gets caught in that bounce. It goes off his glove. But right here, he came in like a fielder with 2. It felt like there was no chance of even throwing anyone home. You can see where Jason's freezing. He's getting.
And Jason's moving too.
But he's not even at the bag yet.
Yeah, he paused.
Jason was quite at third base yet.
Well, they scored an E5. So no RBI for Ramos. 6-0 Washington. And Espinosa, who has an RBI single,
I was always told as an outfielder that you charge the ball as hard as you can and always anticipate coming up throwing to home, because what it does is the third base coach gets a read off the outfielder how he attacks the ball.
No assumptions.
Exactly. If he's coming in thinking, okay, I'm going to field it and go to second base, he reads it, the third base coach. That's why you attack the ball. That's why they put a cutoff man out there.
Yeah, so worst case scenario, you fire it, and they see you aggressively firing it. You hit the cutoff man, who can then turn and throw to second.
Exactly.
In case the guy's going to second base.
Because I can guarantee you, if Cedric Hunter comes after that ball full speed, they do not send Jason Worth.
2 balls, 1 strike to Danny Espinosa. And it's upstairs, 3-1.
I guess I should say I don't guarantee it, but I would bet my paycheck. Or Murph's paycheck.
It's really nice of you. To the right side, Burris has got it. They'll get 1 at second. Galvis's throw to first is in time. 4-6-3 double play. And the side is retired. Dusty Baker says hold everything. He wants to go to the phone and check this out. Chris Spires on the horn. Let's see if they challenge this or not. Dusty's going to come out.
Nice strong throw. Safe at first.
Here's the only thing, though. They could come out. They can come out and see the foot on the bag and the ball not in the glove. They could come out, the Phillies can, if they overturn this. And then
slide.
And ask about the slide, because we've already learned in the previous series that a slide that is short of the second base bag, and Odubel's slide was short of the second base bag in that series against the Padres, is in violation of the Utley rule. Now, they can come out and say that it had no effect on that particular play, but if you're the Phillies, you can still check on it, because the base runner has to slide at the bag, like to the bag, and Ramos slid short of the bag. I don't agree with it, but that was something that we were told this past week when Odubel Herrera slid short of the bag. But New York did say that it had no effect on the play, and they could say the same thing here. So Kerwin Danley is closest to you. Joe West is the deeper of the 2 umpires. See where Ramos slides? Yeah, actually, that's violation, because he slid away from the bag.
Because there's no intention of going
Correct.
to the bag.
He had no intention. That's different than what Odubel did. And we don't totally understand the rule. Now watch Joe West. He is going to rule him safe. Now if you're Pete will come out and he'll ask for an assessment of Rule 6.01, which I thought they were going to review the whole play when New York looks at it. So Joe West is going to come back, and he's going to signal to the second base umpire, Andy Fletcher, to come look at this. And if we understand the rule correctly, and again, a lot of times examples are the key.
Okay. And Tom, I'm going to interrupt you. Look where his back is. It's to second base. So there's no intention of trying to touch the bag.
Correct.
The whole time.
Correct.
That's where it comes down to points where guys can slide on their right side or their left side.
Yeah.
See, I could only slide on my left side. I couldn't slide on both cheeks.
I remember you saying that. Yeah.
You know, so to me, if I see that slide, there's no intentions of going towards the bag, because his whole body's turned towards Freddie Galvis and towards right field.
Yeah. Well, you know, this is a learning process for all of us. Our assumption is just by looking at the rule that this is a violation of 6.01, and here we go, and he is out. All right. You know, this is oh no, now they're going to say safe at first. I'm sorry. So out at second, safe at first, no violation of 6.01. Boy, that's interesting, because he did not slide at the bag. He slid at Galvis short of the bag. Wow. Well, I have to admit, as we said, it's a learning process for all of us.
Well, and I think it is. And I think it's now, are they saying that he could touch second base where he ended up sliding?
It doesn't matter.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter. according to what they said the other day. Boy, that is really interesting. The other day it was a violation, and this is worse than the other day, and it's not a violation. Wow. Well, I guess that's why it's better. I mean, we could have an opinion.
Right.
And we could voice it, but you just got to let it play out. So Joe Ross is the batter. He doubled his first time up. Hits one foul over the first base dugout and out of play. And it's 0-1. So here's the slide rule. The base runner should begin the slide prior to reaching the base. The base runner needs to be able to and attempt to reach the base, which he did not do.
There was no attempt. He
That's
could
the
reach
violation.
It, but he did not attempt to touch the base.
Right. And the other violation, too, is if you go down that list, because that pitch is low and away, 1-1. If you go down that list, the base runner needs to be able to and attempt to remain on base after completion of the slide. He did not. Or a base runner cannot change pathway for the purposes of initiating contact, which is what he was starting to do. 1 ball, 1 strike to Joe Ross. And he fouls it. Now, Major League Baseball has said that they're thinking about tinkering with the rule, and they want the umpires both here and in New York to use judgment.
How about get on the same page?
That's my thought.
Or I don't know. Maybe go back to old-time baseball and let the game play the game.
I'm with you. I'm not a big fan of the rule as it is. I'm not a big fan of the home plate rule.
Look, I understand, and trust me, I understand the salaries are huge. You need to protect the guys around the bases, but really, a slide into second base.
1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, and Ross is struck out. Ruiz throws to first in time. And the side is retired. 2-3 on the putout. 1 run does score. We'll go to the bottom of the third. It's 6-0. Nationals on top.
But he knew it wasn't enough.
This land is your land.
Jackie felt an obligation to speak up.
This land is my land.
From Ken Burns.
He knew that we had to have racial equality.
If you only know the legend, you don't know the man.
Well, I'm sure that you've heard it being talked about, but that was the trailer of the Jackie Robinson documentary that is running now nationwide on PBS. And we are really pleased to welcome in David McMahon, who is with us, one of the producers of the documentary. First of all, thanks for being here in Philadelphia on a night where we celebrate the life of Jackie Robinson. And you and I were just talking about the documentary and how it was a passion project for you and your family.
It was a passion project. Now, Ken Burns, my co-director, along with Sarah Burns, had covered the Jackie Robinson story back in his baseball series in 1994. And he really was the moral center of that documentary, but we really felt like, and with the help of Rachel Robinson, came to understand that there was much more to Jackie, and we were really eager to tell the full story, not just the story of Robinson in 1947 when he was turning the other cheek and integrating the game, but how a lifetime of activism and speaking out on behalf of people who don't have a voice.
Yeah, and for folks that don't know, Ken Burns is your father-in-law, Sarah is your wife, his daughter is your wife, and so it is kind of a family project. And I asked you as we were sitting here talking if there was anything that you learned during your research and during putting this project together about Jackie Robinson that maybe most of us don't yet if we have not seen it.
Sure. I think we were given lots of time working with Ken to do research and to go into all the archives. And I think that the discovery we began to have early on was in the nation's archives at our networks, NBC, ABC, CBS, there was this incredible trove of footage of Robinson speaking out over the course of his whole life, especially when he gained so much fame. He would speak out in politics, in business, in civil rights on behalf of people who didn't have that voice. And we had never really taken the time to listen to Robinson, but there he was on all this old film, speaking out and saying things that we needed to hear. So we thought it was a chance to capture a version of Robinson that wasn't turning the other cheek, but was instead using his voice and his fame to effectuate change.
Anyone that saw the baseball series by Ken Burns knows what wonderful work is put into something like this. How many years goes into a project like Jackie Robinson that we are now getting to enjoy on PBS?
Well, we began our production in earnest about 3 years ago. We had interviewed Mrs. Robinson a few years earlier, but it's such a luxury to work at PBS where no one's looking over your shoulder, no one's telling you what you can or can't put in your film. There are no commercials, and we had all the time that we needed to make the portrait of Robinson that had to be made and then present it at whatever length it came in at. And so we love working with PBS. We got such great support from them. And we also get to activate the hundreds of networks across the country who promoted and broadcast the film.
Well, let's do just that because it is re-airing this weekend. It's already started on PBS. I got to catch a little bit of it, Tom. I know you saw the whole thing, I think, at this point, but people are going to get a chance to watch it again this weekend here in the Philadelphia area.
Yep, the rebroadcast is this weekend, and then for some time people will be able to catch it on the PBS website streaming.
All right, so 2 ways to watch it, and certainly we all know the story of Jackie Robinson, but do we really know the story of Jackie Robinson? This will tell it for sure.
I think so, yeah. I think we're going to get a new treatment of Robinson with this, and I hope that we think about him differently after we experience him this way.
Well, David, it's a real pleasure having you here. Thanks for being with us on a very special night for baseball, and good luck with the project.
Thank you so much.
All right, guys, we'll send it back to you.
All right, Murph. Tyler Goodell is going to pinch hit for Jeremy Hellickson here in the bottom of the third inning. Goodell so far 1 for 9. A chopper to short. Espinosa's up with it. His throw is way high. Look out, everybody. Into the camera well. Goodell will go to second. We know there's one E6 in there. I don't think they're going to give Goodell a base hit on that in E6. Scott Hunsinger came to a baseball game today. Didn't realize that he was going to have to wear a helmet over there in the stands. The GM of the Reading Fighters.
Yeah, a good throw would have had him.
Look at Scott. He's the one that tried to catch it into the camera well, and then he got it. There's Scott with the goatee, his son next to him. E6 all the way, so a runner in scoring position. Emmanuel Burris will be the batter. Burris is 0 for 1. He flied out to left. It's 1 ball, no strikes.
When you talk about a pitcher that he throws a heavy ball, it's the late movement he has. Joe Ross has late movement on that fastball. I mean, it's a late, last second. Well, you think you're going to square it up. Nice play.
Oh, that's a really good catch. One-handed grab on the Hall of Fame level.
You think you're going to square it up, and it just goes towards the end of the bat. And it feels like you're hitting like
a cement block thrown at you.
He's impressive.
Oh, he is. He has a very good arm. You know, Charlie Morton doesn't throw a heavy ball. He has that tremendous sinker because you can see it the whole way. I shouldn't say you can see it the whole way. It moves the whole way.
1 ball and 2 strikes to Burris with a runner at second. Try to check his swing. And it's 2-2. Toward left field. Jason Worth will wait for it. And he puts it away for the second out. And that'll bring Freddie Galvis to the plate. Well, following up on Murph's interview, Jackie Robinson's career began in 47 in the major leagues. This is after playing in the Negro Leagues. 47 in the major leagues, hit .311 with 137 home runs. He was the 47 Rookie of the Year, but the 49 National League MVP when he won the batting title, hitting over 300. Inducted into baseball's Hall of Fame in 1962. And if you happen to go onto the Hall of Fame's website, they have what they think is the last interview, radio interview, with Jackie Robinson, the last extended radio interview with Jackie Robinson before his death. And it's really interesting to listen to his take on that interview, on what he did and what he was able to accomplish and what his family was able to accomplish as well. The ball's 1 strike to Galvis with a runner at second. And it's 0-2. Side 2-2.
Joe Ross has a simple delivery. He does a slide step, tremendous arm speed. His changeup and his fastball come out identical. That's why you see Freddie Galvis swing at the second strike. It's so hard to read.
I think it also made that 94 even harder to pick up. It's kind of what you talked about before. Watch this delivery as Matt was discussing.
Well, you know, it's a perfect break of the hands. The ball goes back. He hides it well. He's quick, but then all of a sudden he explodes at you. It's frustrating because you try to watch, you try to pick something off him. Now you think it's going to be a fastball, and he has the exact same delivery. It's all about tempo, and everything he does is the exact same because he holds base runners very well, so he doesn't have to change his delivery ever. He just goes with the same thing every time. And because he is quick to home plate, as a hitter you become a little jumpy because you feel like you have to get started earlier because he's kind of not quick pitching you, but he is quick to home plate.
He's long too, 6'4", 230 pounds.
Yes. Which you would never think he'd be that quick to home plate. It'd be interesting to have a stopwatch on him to see how quick he actually is to home plate.
Two balls, two strikes in the dirt, 3-2.
You would think this is going to be a pretty good pitch to hit. 3-2, 2 outs.
And ball 4, so Galvis is aboard. And Odubel Herrera will be the batter. He's already got a base hit tonight. In fact, he has the only hit for the Phillies, who have been out hit 7-1. By the way, Major League Baseball has replied about the slide by Wilson Ramos. And they said that the slide was a good slide and he was not hindering the fielder on the slide, which contradicts the exact email the other day about Odubel Herrera's slide, which was the same exact slide. So here is Odubel with runners on first and second. Swing and a miss, 0-1. Here it is as he goes toward Freddie.
And reaches for the bag at the same time.
He was nowhere near the bag. Oh. Well. Funny thing is, we didn't think that Odubel's slide was a bad slide. That is exactly the same slide that was deemed to be illegal. We didn't think Odubel's was a bad slide the other day either. We were surprised when the email came saying it was. 1 ball, 1 strike. Inside, 2-1 to Herrera.
Again, nice place to hit right now, 3-1. The best hitter on deck with power as well, Michael Franco. But we've seen a lot of times pitchers pitching backwards. This is the time if he throws a 3-1 changeup or an off-speed pitch, that's pitching backwards.
He threw a 93-mile-an-hour fastball, and Odubel's a little frustrated with himself. Whoa. Whoa. Oh, that poor lady. Come on, give it back to her.
Should be a fastball away right here.
Runners will be off on this pitch. There they go, and the pitch is fouled. Right into the sweet level. What a great catch. Did she get it back? Yeah, looks like she got something. Everybody's happy. The runners take their lead. And Odubel fouls it off. And it remains 3-2. West is trying to get Odubel into the box. He's said because I just had to put some Manimoto stick on it. Runners go again. Pitches in the dirt. Gets away from Ramos. 9th walk of the year for Odubel. Phillies baseball is brought to you by McDonald's. Come into McDonald's for an Egg McMuffin and medium iced coffee for $3.49. By Nissan. Choose Nissan today for great offers on our most exciting lineup ever. Shop Nissan.com. And by T-Mobile. Get major league coverage. T-Mobile has doubled its 4G LTE since 2015. We can smell those from up here. As Mike Maddox is out to talk to his young right-hander. Clock already reached 0.
So what happens if he doesn't leave at 0-0?
I don't think it's anything. I think it just
for show.
Yeah, I think the umpires have to be out there by the time it hits 0, and they've got to break it up. I think some umpires will be more lenient than others. But yeah, it's just for show to a certain extent. So here is Franco with the bases loaded. The Phillies down 6. They had a breaking ball in there. It's 0-1.
This is a pretty good slider to hit right here. He recognized it. His first at bat, he took a wild swing at a first pitch slider.
Wild swing at a second pitch slider here. It's 0-2.
This one here has better bite on the slider. Starts out at third. And as a young player, that's where all of a sudden, bases loaded. You're the 4-hole hitter. You're the power guy. You and Ryan. It's not a bad idea to go ahead and sit on a slider. Sit on something off speed. Bryce Harper did it. Look what happened to him.
Ground ball to shortstop. They had him play perfectly. Espinosa's throw is in time to get Herrera, and the side is retired. Phillies leave him loaded here in the 3rd. We'll move to the top of the 4th. It's 6-0. Nats on top. This RAV4th inning is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. Let's go Phillies. Top half of the 4th inning. Phillies trail at 6-0. And Brett Oberholzer will be the new pitcher. Oberholzer will take over for Jeremy Hellickson, who went 3 innings, allowed 7 hits and 6 runs. 5 of those runs are earned. Walked 1, struck out 3. So here's Oberholzer in his second game. He was effective in Cincinnati the first game. Tomorrow, when the Phillies take on the Nationals, it will be Turkey Hill Kids opening night. All kids 14 and under will receive that pullover right there. That young guy will get it. Tickets can be purchased by going to Phillies.com. 7:05 first pitch. Michael Taylor will start things off against Oberholzer. Swing and a miss. Oberholzer was very effective, as we mentioned, in his only outing of the year. That was in Cincinnati, so he's had some time off. The life of a long man.
3 1/3 innings that day?
3 1/3.
1 run?
And yes, just 1 run. It was on a home run. 4 hits, 5 strikeouts, and 3 1/3. Upstairs to Taylor. Faced 15 batters in that game. That one is served out to right. Peter Borges is there to make the catch. One-handed grab. All right, Matt, so we have the answer to your question before about Velasquez. Matt asked a question. It was not our Jeep Stump the Fans trivia question. He said, has anybody ever had 16 strikeouts, no walks, and had his first major league hit in the same game? And what would your thought be?
Yes.
The answer is no. In the modern era, which
Really?
is since 1900, nobody's ever done that. I hope you get the next one right. It's pretty cool. How about the fact that he had the base hit yesterday and the ball stayed in play? And then finally they threw it out after 1 pitch. Rendon fouls it. And it's 0-2.
I was on the golf course yesterday following the game and letting everybody on the course know how many punch outs Vince had throughout the game.
I didn't think he would be around for 9 innings. A lot of times when you have that many strikeouts, your pitch count's going to be way up there. And we've seen over the years that, particularly with young pitchers, they'll be taken out at 100 pitches.
Right.
Or somewhere in that neighborhood. I thought he would throw 8 innings and that would be it. Maybe 7 innings, that would be it. There's the 0-2 to Rendon on the hands, fouled back to the screen. On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, Miami is shutting out the Braves 3-0. Williams Perez for the Braves, 4 1/3, 8 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 walks, 1 strikeout. Wei Yen Chen, who was over from the Orioles organization, the opening day starter for the Marlins, 5 innings, he's allowed 1 hit, and he has struck out 3. Moves Rendon's feet. It's 2-2.
Yeah, but you do have to remember too with Vince, and it was a great point about having all those strikeouts and the numbers go up there. He did stay back in Florida when the team went to Cincinnati to get an extra start, and he did throw 99 pitches in his outing in New York.
Oh, he was, I think Ben talked about this. As Oberholzer makes a wonderful play, backhanding and taking it right to the bag to tag out Rendon. 1 unassisted, and if he didn't do that, he would have been safe because Howard came over to field that ball as well, and nobody was covered first.
Now this is a great play on both sides, really. Oberholzer does a nice job getting over there, and getting the ground ball. But as a first baseman, that in between that little bunt right there, you have to go for it, because if Ryan stays back and you expect your pitcher to get it and flip it to you, not enough time. So both guys have to go, and you're relying on either your pitcher gets the ball or he gets to first base in time for the flip.
And there was so much English on that ball once it hit the cutout. So here's Bryce Harper. He's 1 for 2. And Harper off the end of the bat flares one out to right center field. Borges will play it on a high. So Harper has a base hit, his second of the game. Ryan Zimmerman is due up next for the Nats.
Power hitters usually get those type of hits because they take that big mighty swing. You see that free swing, and what happens as an outfielder, you either freeze or you take one step back.
And you're playing deep anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, we want to wish a happy 95th birthday to Margaret Williams, who is in the blue, keeping herself warm with the Phillies hat on. That's a good circle, Matt.
Thank you.
Margaret is here enjoying this ball game with her 5 children, her 10 grandchildren, her 9 great grandchildren, and she has 1 more great grandchild on the way. Her grandson is serving in the armed forces, so he's not here. He's the only one that's not here. But her family's coming from Germany, from Alaska, from California, Florida, Georgia, here in Pennsylvania, and in the Great Garden State to enjoy the 95th birthday for Margaret Williams. So happy birthday, Margaret. If we'd known, we would have got her something.
She was down on the field today earlier during batting practice.
Oh, was she?
Yep. All smiles.
Overholzer delivers high. 1-1 to Zimmerman. Murph, did you get Margaret anything for her birthday?
I did. I got her that blue jacket that's keeping her warm. I asked if you wanted to go in on it.
Well, that is awful nice of you. I didn't hear you. I'm sorry. I must have my headphones on.
Must have.
2 balls and 1 strike. What do you get someone who's 95? You get her a night at the Phillies game. How about everything that she's seen during her lifetime? Oof. Including Murph. That one is fouled down the right field line out of play. It's 2-2.
I wouldn't think 6-0 Bryce Harper's going to run. Been wrong before, but he just doesn't have that aggressive lead at first. Two hands on the knees, waits.
Check swing, slow roller, foul by Zimmerman. So Harper will go back to first.
There you
6-0 is not. I mean, it's a big lead,
Right.
but it's not the lead where you shut things down if you're a team. Swing and a miss. He got him. Zimmerman out front, and strikeout number 1 for Oberholzer. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 man left for the Nationals. On to the bottom of the 4th. The Phils trail it 6-0. Products you can't live without, like 3M super sticky post-it notes, available in a world of colors and ideal for the most hard to stick to surfaces. Personally delivered to your desktop for free. By who? But WB Mason. Well, today we celebrate the memory of Jackie Robinson, not only here at Citizens Bank Park, but all around baseball. And you see all the number 42s. That's because that's what everybody is wearing. It began with players like Ken Griffey Jr. and Mike Cameron asking the commissioner's office if they could wear 42 in honor of Jackie Robinson on this day. And then eventually it transformed into specifically Jackie Robinson Day, but all of the players wearing the number 42. As Howard waves at the first pitch from Ross here in the bottom of the 4th. Howard struck out looking his first time up. Howard lines that one to right, and Harper made the catch. He reached down at the last moment and made the grab. 1 out here in the bottom of the 4th.
Well, I don't think you can stretch out any farther than that without diving. Had a nice dive. That's a tough play because that's a sinking line drive from a left-hander that's hooked. I guess the bottom line is if you don't make the play, it's going to be a double either way.
Well, here's Ruiz. I wonder if as he ventured after that, if he thought in his mind that he was going to dive for it. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Got to tip your hat on that pitch right there. 2-1 slider.
Carlos punches it to second base, gobbled up by Daniel Murphy, and there are 2 outs. Still only 1 hit tonight for the Phils. That came back in the first inning. It was a single by Odubel Herrera that Cedric Hunter will now come up. Cedric hits it right back through the middle, past the diving Espinosa, a base hit, and that ends an 0 for 17 stretch for Cedric Hunter. A little bit of a sigh of relief for the Phillies outfielder.
You know, it is, and you look at his at bats. He's 0 for 17. Was there a lot of strikeouts? No. So there's something in your swing that you need to work on a little bit. You know, you continue going up there. If you're going up there on 0 for 17, you punch out 15 times, there's something wrong with your swing. But if you continue getting underneath the ball a little bit, hitting weak fly balls, you're not far off. It's just a matter of making just a little adjustment.
The other part too, and you know this better than anybody, I think the fact that Ross is throwing him predominantly fastballs, that helps Cedric Hunter.
Yes. I mean, he's a guy who's a fastball hitter. Guy who likes throwing his fastball majority of the time. But it does get frustrating because you get a pitch to hit, and what happens? You hit that weak fly ball to left field, then all of a sudden you hit a weak fly ball at third base. You know, and I will talk about the whole year about left-handers think about their top hand. You have to use your top hand. Your bottom hand's the, you know, guides it to the zone. Point of contact, you need to throw that top hand, which he did on that ball. He hit up the middle. You get on top of the baseball.
1-2 as Borges goes after that high fastball.
You know, one thing I watch for Borges as he's hitting is how he finishes his swing. He hits a lot of baseballs or takes a lot of swing and he's off balance.
Well, he waves at that breaking pitch and he strikes out. Fourth strikeout of the night for Ross. No runs, one hit, and one man left for the Phils. On to the fifth at 6-0 Nats. This Sunday, the Phillies will celebrate the Fanatic's birthday with the help of Citizens Bank, and all kids 14 and under will receive the Fanatic Flare Hair Visor. Tickets can be purchased for tomorrow's game and Sunday's Fanatic's birthday by going to Phillies.com. So come on out and celebrate. Wear your dangle hat. As as we kick off the celebration of the Philly fanatic. And we begin the top of the 5th inning. Brett Oberholzer in relief of Jeremy Hellickson faces Daniel Murphy. And Oberholzer a little high, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. After the postseason that Murphy had last year with the Mets, and really after the season he had, I think a lot of people were surprised when they did not re-sign him. However, they felt like he was a little too rich for what they wanted to do.
Yep.
And it took a while before the Nationals signed him to the 3-year, $37 million contract. Pulls that one down the right field line toward the corner. It is a fair ball. One hop off the base of the wall. The guy who had 34 or 38 doubles a year ago has a double to start the 5th inning. First 2 rounds of the postseason last year, I mean, he had a postseason to remember.
With his swing, though, what I get impressed with is that how long he stays in there. He has a very short swing. At least all the games we've seen him play against us, because he destroys the Phillies. He hits the ball really well. He has comfortable bats. I mean, lefty's throwing 99 and 1. There's no upper body movement. Doesn't fly out.
Jason Worth hits another one hard. Cedric Hunter makes the catch. Boy, Jason seems like he's dialed in here tonight, huh? He's hit 3 balls hard, 2 doubles, 2 runs scored, 3 RBIs. That first year against the Phillies, his numbers were not great, but ever since then, he's had himself some good numbers. 16 career home runs against the Phillies. No, he had a few before he came to the Phils.
Right. First year you try to make them pay. Second year and after that you kind of relax a little bit. It's oh hum, here we go again.
Ramos is 0 for 2. And he lines one diving catch by Maikel Franco. 2 outs. And a broken bat for Ramos. Just snapped it right in half.
Yeah, it's a change up off the end of the bat. 1 step and a dive.
Joe West is cleaning up some of the pieces of wood. Espinosa batted left-handed his first 2 times up, had an RBI single. Reached on a fielder's choice. Now he'll spin back to the right side. Inside, 1 ball, no strikes. Wide-eyed, just attentive. That one's hit sharply through the hole on the left side. Rounding third, heading for home is Murphy. The throw by Cedric Hunter, cut off by Maikel Franco, and now they've got Espinosa caught between second and first. And he tags him out, and the side is retired. But the Nationals do score a run on the RBI single by Espinosa, his 2nd RBI of the night. We'll move to the bottom of the 5th inning. 7 runs on 10 hits for Washington. Now for the Citizens Bank Minor League Report. Well, how about Mitch Walding? We saw him in the Futures games. Walding tonight with Clearwater, 2 doubles, a grand slam, 5 RBIs, and a couple runs scored. That game's at the bottom of the 7th. Clearwater is shutting out Jupiter 11-zip. So far, Clearwater is tied for 2nd in the North Division with a 4-4 record. Seems like we've been talking about Mitch Walding a lot. That Clearwater team has some pretty good prospects. Not only Walding, but how about Kyle Martin, who they drafted, the Phillies drafted in last year's amateur draft out of South Carolina. He is having himself a very good start to the season. Oberholzer will bat. He had an at-bat earlier. Pitch is outside. It's 1 ball and no strikes. To the right side, it's picked up by Zimmerman, and Ross is there to cover. 1 away. And Emmanuel Burris will come up. So 2 hits tonight. You know, this is a 7-0 drubbing at this point. Well, this kid's pitching a pretty good ball game, even though he ran into some trouble in the 3rd inning. I mentioned that he's originally for the Padres organization. Pete Macadam thought that his Phillies would see his brother this past week, but his brother came down with a shoulder issue. So there was that 3-player deal with the Tampa Bay Rays and the Nationals and the Padres a couple years ago, and Ross was one of the key components of that deal. Coming over from San Diego. Burris out towards center field, and gliding out is Michael Taylor. He'll make the catch, 2 away. Well, earlier today, as part of the celebration honoring the great Jackie Robinson, so Sarge in the background there, out at Memorial Park, where the Philadelphia Stars have been honored for years, they recommissioned the mural that was out there. And there's Sarge. That's right. He was just up here in the booth. Philly Fanatic made his way out there. It was part of the Jackie Robinson ceremony. On a beautiful day. Kids looked like they were happy, not only to see the Fanatic, but also to enjoy the festivities. There's Freddie Galvis, who takes a strike on the outside corner. It's 0-1. Phillies donated tickets and backpacks and Fanatic posters and Jackie Robinson postcards to the kids that were there, as Galvis is retired on the fly ball to left, corralled by Jason Worth, and we have played 5 and a 6-pitch inning for Joe Ross. We'll go to the 6th inning. Phil's looking to quiet down the Nationals offense. Of the week is introducing himself to Philadelphia in striking style. Thursday afternoon versus the Padres was a 113-pitch performance of domination by Vince Velasquez. His first complete game shutout consisted of 80% first pitch strikes, while retiring 22 of the final 23 batters he faced. His fastball was humming all game as he fanned 16 batters, the most by a Philly since Cliff Lee in 2011. The 23-year-old has a 15-inning scoreless streak in his first 2 starts. And his stinginess is brought to you by Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. Well, his stinginess was rather impressive last night, or I should say yesterday. Same with the batter, Joe Ross, who has not been stingy with the bat so far in this game. There's an RBI double and a strikeout. There is Velasquez. He will start Tuesday night. Make sure you go to Phillies.com. Phillies have a ticket promo going on for Tuesday's game against the New York Mets. Ross doubled back in the first. He struck out in the third. We're in the top of the 6th inning. It's 7-0 Washington. That's a good pitch. And Oberholzer's done today what he did against the Reds. He's just kept them off balance with the way he's tossing.
Yeah. He has. And what I like about Oberholzer is that he throws fastballs inside. He'll throw that big curveball inside. He'll throw the fastball away, then all of a sudden he'll back it up with a changeup away. We saw, Zimmerman strike out on a changeup earlier. Just has a late movement.
Foul tip, and it's 0-2. Tied him up. That's what you're talking about, Matt. Soft away, tie him up inside with a little heat. And there are 2 outs. Let's check in with Greg Murphy. Murph, Johnny B. Baker's back.
Yes, he is indeed, better known as Dusty Baker. And you're right, the Washington Nationals are off to a torrid start, as you can see so far this season. And I guess you got to give a little bit of credit to the new manager in the dugout, of course, taking over for Matt Williams after his 2 seasons as skipper. And why not? You're talking about a guy with a ton of experience and a ton of wins. And the Nationals felt like this was the kind of manager they needed to get them over the hump, because they've been one of the best teams in baseball over the past couple of years, but they have not had the success in the postseason that they wanted. So the 1,678 wins of Dusty Baker on his resume, they thought that was a pretty good thing to add to the mix, and they'll see where it takes them. But certainly we all know Dusty and a terrific baseball man, so they're kind of putting it all in his hands and hoping that they can take it home.
Yeah, I mean, there's been something missing with the Nationals. I mean, there's no doubt over the last few years, even though they've gotten to the postseason a couple times, but they went the other way last year. There was something missing, in the month of September as the Mets were overtaking them. And, there's something casual but competitive about Dusty Baker. I mean, people always wonder, does a manager make that much of a difference? Oh, man. Man, oh, man, oh, man. That is a shot. Towering home run for Bryce Harper. He was sitting breaking pitch and he got one. 9-0 Nationals. That's his 4th home run of the year. Well, there's Jonathan Papelbon. Certainly liked that swing. They were trying to hurry Harper to the plate. I think most teams would like him to not come to the plate at all.
Tom, a manager will look pretty darn good when they have a guy like that swinging the bat.
Timely segment on your part. Here is Zimmerman, who's 1 for 3. Matt, what you said before about him sitting something soft, I mean, He was right on this.
Well, and he was. I mean, it was a fastball down and out the little loop zone of his swing. Off speed. Well, that's the numbers. The ball's hit well. The powerful swing. Good balance.
Outside 3-0. Well, I think it's safe to say that this is just one of those games. Every team has them.
Every team will have them.
Ball 4. Zimmerman walks. Last year, 42 home runs for Bryce Harper, and he has 4 already this year. Thought it was a pretty easy selection to give him the National League MVP award last season, even though there were others that had very good years. .330, 42 home runs, 99 RBIs. Murphy takes down and away. 1 ball, no strikes. Pulled, caught by Ryan Howard at first. Side is retired, but the Nationals scored 2 more runs on a towering 2-run home run off the bat of Bryce Harper. We'll move to the bottom of the 6th inning. The Phillies being shut out 9-0. Buy your local Ford stores. Buy WB Mason. You can't go wrong when you buy right. And buy your Delaware Valley Honda dealers. Hurry to your local Delval Honda dealer. Visit DelvalHondaDealers.com. Along with Matt Stairs and Greg Murphy, I'm Tom McCarthy. We're in the bottom of the 6th inning, and the Phillies trail at 9-0. They'll have Odubel Herrera, Maikel Franco, and Ryan Howard due up. Tomorrow we'll have our first weekends with Schmidt. Mike will be here. In fact, the whole crew is here tonight. Ben is somewhere in the stadium with his brother Glenn.
Probably at the restaurant.
Could be. Brother Glenn and his nephews and his son Tag. 1 ball, 1 strike. Mike may be here as well. One ball and 1 strike to Odubel. We'll take our broadcaster photo on Sunday morning. You know, they have the trading cards that are sold here at Mercer County, at Citizens Bank Park, and our broadcaster photo card is part of that. 2-2. AJ's going to be awfully tired on Sunday morning when we take that photo, because he's going to be down in D.C. tomorrow for hockey. Off the end of the bat, Ross quickly off the hill. He hesitated a little bit because he couldn't get the handle on it. And Odubel's retired, one away, and Franco's coming up. Time now for our Coors Cold Hard Fact, brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light, or Coors Banquet. Coors Banquet Timeless Moment. My apologies. Mike Schmidt plays in his 1,795th game to break the record held by Richie Ashburn on this date in 1985. One ball, no strikes to Franco.
Franco has got an absolute steady diet of off-speed pitches. Finally going to get a fastball right here.
And he pops it up. Ramos, the catcher, off with the mask. 2 outs. And that'll bring Howard to the plate, who's 0 for 2. Howard struck out looking. He's lined out to Harper in right and made an excellent play. And Howard pulls it right to Zimmerman. Well, it turned out to be another quick inning for Joe Ross. 8 pitches. Howard hit it right on the nose. We've completed 6. We move to the 7th inning. Time now for your Delaware Valley Honda dealers game summary. The Phillies trail at 9-0. The Nationals put a 5 spot on the board in the first inning. Jason Worth has a couple of doubles, including a 3-run double in that first. Jeremy Hellickson went 3, allowed 5 earned runs and 7 hits. So now Worth will lead it off. And Worth takes a strike. It's 0-1. High fly ball deep down the left field line toward the corner, and Hunter misses it as he went into the wall, and it's 0-2. He was still moving, so that makes it a much tougher play because of the wall that came into play. If he had gotten to the spot and then was able to jump, So he was still moving, but he just jumped. Oh, the ball just went right past him.
Yeah, and I think you made a great point. He was moving towards the ball instead of getting to the wall, finding the wall earlier, and then picking the ball up. Makes it a lot easier play finding that wall first.
Outside, 1-2. But I think if you asked him, he'd probably tell you he should have caught it.
Absolutely, yeah.
Softly to the left side. Galvis is up with it. 1 out. Time now for the Jeep Stuff the Fans trivia quiz answer. All right, Matt, here we go. What Phillies pitcher did Bryce Harper hit his 40th home run off last season?
And I loved your clue, so I'm going to say Justin DeFreitas.
Justin DeFreitas is correct.
I believe it was a 2-run shot as well.
Well, your memory's better than mine when it comes to that.
It was here.
Log back on to Phillies.com to find out if you're the winner of a Phillies prize pack. Ramos takes strike one. It's 0-1. Ramos tonight is 0 for 3. So it went back to the box. Reached on an error by Franco. Lined out to third. That one's hit out toward the alley in left center field. Hunter will try to cut it off. He cannot. And it goes to the wall. And Ramos will go to second base with a 1-out double. And Espinosa, who has 2 hits, will be the batter.
You need to start having some quality pitches to where you set up the remainder of the game and for the remainder of the series for uncomfortable at bats. And by no means would I ever say throw at somebody, but you just have to move their feet. It can be down and in by their knees. It can be belt high. It can be chest high. Of course, never by the head. But it's just it's a purpose. And it sets a tone for the rest of the series. You go into the game right now, it's 9-0. You're out hitting the team 13-2. When you walk from the on-deck circle to the batter's box, you have no fear whatsoever.
Yeah, they do look rather comfortable in the box. As Howard digs out that throw. Nice play by Ryan. And they're 2 away here in the 7th inning.
And now call that old school coming on to me, whatever. I really don't care. I would love to play now, well, besides these guys that throw extremely hard. But to walk in that batter's box and know that you can take the biggest swing you want, it doesn't matter. You can hit line drives left field line to right field line. It doesn't matter because you know they're still going to be around the strike zone. And that's the way baseball changes, where they pound the strike zone.
Ross waves at the pitch. It's 0-1. You know, and this is a Nationals team that came into this ball game with a 7-1 record. 6 of the wins were against the Atlanta Braves. It wasn't that as if they were lighting the world on fire. They had scored 32 runs, which was an average of 4 per game.
Right.
Which is not even middle of the pack in the National League. They were hitting .242 as a team coming in. Well, they look like they're the best offensive team in the league the way this game has gone.
Well,
they've been comfortable.
Right, and they've hit a lot of mistakes. There's been mistakes pitched out over the plate. The first inning, the 5-run, the first. I don't know if they knew it was coming. It looked to me like they knew it was coming. And again, I'm not saying I want people to hit. It's an uncomfortable bet. When you know there's not going to be a fastball thrown inside to move your feet, now all of a sudden you start looking out over the plate knowing I have complete coverage of the inside pitch, the outside pitch. And I'll give you an example is Espinosa hitting a backdoor curveball to left center for a base hit, 3-2.
And not flinching whatsoever.
None, not even pulling off the baseball. Pulling off, I mean the shoulder flying open, driving that ball to left center. That's how you're supposed to hit a curveball. But not on a 3-2 pitch.
This kid's got an idea at the plate.
And I'm just shaking my head going, that's a good pitch. Now, did he not swing because he got fooled?
I don't know, the way he looked at it, it didn't look like he was fooled.
He recognized it early.
You got to be ready to go. Look out. Oh, that's dizzying. I'm glad our guy Rich Cottrell did not drop the camera and try to catch that ball. Hey folks, nice job with that baseball. Ball 4. So Ross draws a walk, excuse me. Well, that puts runners on first and second with 2 men down. And Michael Teller will be the batter. There's Rich. Break that camera. That's going to cost you. Taylor takes a pitch low. It's 1 ball, no strikes. Ruiz out to the mound to talk to Oberholzer. Phillies fans, next time you want to grab Phillies seats, get to StubHub. You get the StubHub app. We take the price and location of seats and show you which tickets at StubHub give you the best deal. So get the StubHub app today. Inside, and now it's 2-0.
I believe Oberholzer, he ran out a little bit of steam.
Could be. He's at 61 pitches. That one's over toward the hole. Diving stop. Franco quickly to his feet, and he has no play. Everybody is safe, and the bases will be loaded. That'll be an infield hit for Michael Taylor, his second hit of the night. I think when he got to his feet, he was going to go to second, and he realized Ross was already there. Rendon will now bat.
Well, he does a very nice job. Like you said, Ross had an unbelievable lead and a tremendous jump going to second base. Another nice play by Michael Franco at third base.
Well, Rendon is 1 for 4. Single on a run scored his last time up. one is lifted in the air, shallow left. Freddie Galvis is under it and makes the catch. And the Nationals leave him loaded at the top of the 7th inning. Time to stretch here at Citizens Bank Park. Stretch and get a souvenir if you're in the right spot. Wait a minute. Nice to hear about Chris Jenkins. It's so hard for some of these guys. You know, they get a chance to declare themselves for the NBA draft. They don't have to get an agent. And then after talking to some people, they realize it's not the best of decisions, and that time may come at some point in the future. By the way, StubHub Mother's Appreciation Day will be Sunday, May 1st. It's a 2:35 first pitch special time. It's the Phillies Infinity Scarf, free to all women 15 and older. It's all part of the Indians weekend, the 29th, the 30th, and May 1st. Now, remember, the Phillies are on the road for a while before that, and then on the road for a while after that. We're just here for that series against the Indians. So weather's going to be nice. It's your chance to see the Phils and the Indians. And as we said, there's a couple weeks in between series. Indians tonight are trailing the Mets 6-2. That game's in the top of the 7th inning. Cespedes is homered, Neil Walker's homered, De Aza's homered, Conforto's homered for the Mets. Bartolo Colon against his former team, 7 innings, 2 earned runs, a walk, and 4 strikeouts.
And did not homer.
And did not homer. Matt Dendecker, you saw, is in right field for the Nationals, and Stephen Drew is at second base. As we begin the bottom of the 7th inning, Carlos Ruiz will lead it off. I have to admit, because of the 42s, I had to do a double take about who was in right field. I'm looking down at the roster and thinking, it's not Chris Heisey, he's too small. It's not Lobaton, he's a catcher. It's got to be Dendecker. 0-2 to Carlos. He's lined out and he's grounded out. Swing and a miss, and one away. 42s across the board tonight, honoring the memory of Jackie Robinson. If you haven't watched that PBS special, take the time, 4 hours out of your day. You can split it up. A lot of the stuff we already knew, but there's a lot of new stuff in there. For me, there was a lot of new stuff about the end of his career and about what he was going to do after his career came to a close. Dendecker puts it away. Hunter's retired. And the fact, and I thought this was amazing, you would never see this in today's game. He was traded to the Giants, the New York Giants, from the Brooklyn Dodgers, and would not go because they were the hated rival of the Giants. Just wouldn't do it. Plus, he was, his skills were deteriorating at that point. Borges waves at the first pitch. He has struck out twice tonight. it in. 1 ball, 1 strike.
So maybe that's the reason why they have the no trade clause nowadays in the game.
You imagine that? No, I'm not going because they're my rival. It just doesn't happen. That one's fouled at the plate. And it's 1-2. I know I wouldn't. I mean, you know, there's some extra cash involved. There's a chance to keep playing. Probably going to keep on playing, particularly back then when you didn't make a whole lot of money compared to today's day and age. Dusty Baker, Mike Maddox, excellent pitching coach for the Nationals. Borges gets under that one. It's going to go fouled on the left field line. It's part of the sort of coup that the Nationals put together this offseason. You see these 3 guys right here? You got Johnny B. Baker, Mike Maddox, and the guy without the hat, Davey Lopes. I mean, those are 3 excellent coaches that the Nationals have hired this past offseason. I mean, that could be the best base running coach in baseball right there. Chopper left side. And a 1-2-3 7th inning. It's the 3rd straight 1-2-3 inning for Ross. We have played 7. It's time for the 8th. It's still 9-0 Nats. Jefferson. Call 800-JEFF now or visit jefferson.edu. Buy Chevrolet. Visit your local dealer at chevydealer.com. And buy Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. Top half of the 8th inning. 9-0 Nationals. Well, Jimmy Doherty, the local IRS agent, is dancing with the Fanatic on top of the dugout. Today is April 15th, of course. Normally it's tax day, but there's an extension for Monday. And the Fanatic says this to taxes. Poor Jimmy Doherty. I don't think Jimmy liked that. With the music of the Taxman in the background as Dendecker fouls it over the dugout. I wonder if Paul McCartney will sing that on the 12th of July when he plays here at Citizens Bank Park. I don't know the rules for that. 4 games for James Russell. 4 hits, inning in a third. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. That was the announcement the other day that Paul McCartney will be performing here at Citizens Bank Park. Billy Joel will be here at Citizens Bank Park. A couple of excellent concerts in the summer. One ball, 2 strikes to Matt Dendecker. 1 for 6 so far. Tried to check his swing, and he went around, says Joe West. And Ryan Zimmerman's due up. Let's check in with Murph. He's got the Major League Notebook. Murph.
I do indeed, Tom. Well, the Rangers have locked up their third baseman for another 2 years, according to MLB.com. Adrian Beltre has signed a 2-year extension worth $18 million a year. The 37-year-old is in his 19th season of professional baseball, so it looks like 20 and 21 will be happening in Texas as well. And did you see that Team USA has named their new manager for the World Baseball Classic in 2017? He is a familiar name. Jim Leland will lead the team, Team USA, next year during the World Baseball Classic. Of course, Leland, a 3-time manager of the year, twice in the National League, once in the American League, also a World Series champ. Pretty good guy to lead Team USA in the World Baseball Classic in 2017.
He is very excited about putting the uniform back on. That's what he said today. And I agree with you, Murph. Perfect guy to lead Team USA. Swing and a miss. 1-2.
Question is he going to wear spikes or turfs? He always used to wear spikes when he used to coach.
You get older, you get colder, but your feet also start to fall apart, so he may wear turfs.
That's the question we need to find out. We'll get to that answer.
Inquiring minds want to know. Franco with a diving stop, slings it across the diamond in time. 2 away. He's made some diving plays tonight, and that was his best one of the evening. And it is our Hyundai defensive play of the game.
Well, he's on a lot of leather to his left. This time to his right. Very nice snag. It's up. Throws a rocket across to get Ryan Zimmerman. The concentration. 1 hopper. Doesn't stab at it. Nice, what you call nice soft hands. I like the fact you get throws a missile across. That's your Hyundai defensive play of the game, brought to you by your local Hyundai dealers.
Well, Stephen Drew will be the batter. Drew is 2 for 7 so far with a home run. Nine runs on 14 hits for the Nationals here tonight. Outside, 1-0, or 2-0, I should say. James Russell's dad, Jeff, was a closer in the majors for 14 seasons. Cincinnati Reds, Oakland A's, the Red Sox, and the Indians. That one is spun out toward the left side. Galvis has got it, and he won't have a play. Stephen Drew will have an infield hit. So the overshift was on. And Drew, I don't think he meant to do it, was able to poke it to the left side and keep the inning alive for Jason Worth. MLB.com at bat. Follow the Phillies live with the MLB.com at bat app. Stay up to the moment at any moment with live game video highlights, StatCast, news, and more. Download MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your phone and tablet. Down and away, 1 ball, no strikes to Worth. That is a mile high. Odubel's under it. And he makes the catch. Worth is retired. So are the Nationals in the top of the 8th inning. No runs, a hit, and one man left. On to the bottom of the 8th. It's the Nationals 9 and the Phillies nothing. The bottom of the 8th inning here at Citizens Bank Park. Try to get a little offense going. They have only 2 hits here this evening. Darren Ruffle pinch hit for James Russell. Russell throws a scoreless inning. That's still Joe Ross out on the mound for the Nationals. A little powder blue right there, Matt.
Kid looks familiar.
1 ball and 1 strike. He's sporting the Larry Anderson old school zipped up Phillies jersey. Got to play, and it's 1-2. He's looking the wrong way. He has no idea where the camera is. You would think he would know. It holds 1 ball and 2 strikes. Bullet. Look out below on that one. Darren just a little out front. So far, Darren 1 for 7. He has not been able to carry over the success in spring training to the big leagues and to the regular season. Now, part of it is because of the injured shoulder. He's missed some time on this homestand. That's lined out toward Worth. It'll hang up for him. But he makes the catch.
Yeah, it's hard to get into a groove when you're in your 11th game and you've had 8 at bats. Now, unfortunately, he had that jammed shoulder the last couple of games, but again, continue having at bats like that, making solid contact. Eventually, you will get locked in. And those base hits there will either get a little extra bat spin, get to the wall, or you get the top spin in front of the outfielders.
Well, Emmanuel Burris has got to get off the schneid here. He's 0 for 8 to start the year. Hit the ball hard a couple times tonight. Inside 2-0.
His first 2 at bats, he hit the ball well to left field. Hit the weak fly ball to center field. See where I'm getting at? Let's get back down on the ground. Line drives, top of the baseball, driving the ball down hard on the ground.
It's a little low. It's 3-0.
Unless you have very good power, left center, right center, hitting fly balls is gonna kill you. Because now you can live in the air and hit the 374, you know, the 398 to right center. But if you don't have that type of power, get on top of that ball and use your speed.
Pokes it the other way, and it's gobbled up by Rendon. And Burris is retired. Boy, Ross has really settled in. He's only allowed a hit since the first inning. One hit, that's it. After the Nationals leave town, Phillies will welcome in the New York Mets Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Monday is a Hatfield Dollar Dog Night. All three games are at 7:05. Tickets can be purchased anytime by going to Phillies.com. Here's Galvis, and it's low and in. 1 ball, no strikes. Joe Ross, who spends the offseason working out with his brother Tyson, which has helped him improve not only his balance, his strength, and his work ethic, as Freddie pokes it through the hole on the left side. Just the 3rd hit for the Phillies. He's been able to front run tonight. Let's face it. He had a 5-0 lead before he even stepped to the mound, and he helped the cause.
Well, he has. He's had a very good breaking ball. This has been his best pitch tonight. You know, he's been mixing in a real good changeup. But the fact that slider has that late of a break, thinking it's going to be a fastball, nice, easy delivery. He's been controlled the whole night.
Well, his night is done. 107 pitches for Ross. Dusty Baker's coming out to make a double switch. He went out to the home plate umpire Joe West. So there's the line. 7 2/3, 3 hits. He is responsible for the runner over at first base. So Yusmeiro Petit's going to take over. 9-0 Washington with 2 outs here in the 8th. Here at Citizens Bank Park, the Phils and the Nationals, and all fans 14 and under will receive the kids pullover. Tickets can be purchased anytime by going to Phillies.com. Chris Heisey will take over in left field for the Reds as part of this double switch. Yusmeiro Petit He'll be the new pitcher. He's technically the long man for the Nationals. Well, good night for Joe Ross, whose numbers, his ERA under 1 after his first 2 starts. Check swing. That's a foul ball. It's 0-2. Elvis, who went to second base, is in scoring position with 2 men down. Just a bit outside, 2-2. I know you always say in these spots, just don't give away at bats.
Absolutely.
You'll regret it in September when you're looking to keep building your numbers.
Yep.
Odubel's not the kind of guy that would give away at bats.
No, and he reminds me of his approach of Sammy Sosa. Never gave at bats away.
That one is in the dirt. Galvis will go to third, and it'll be a wild pitch for Petit.
A lot of people ask, you know, throughout your careers, any regrets? That would be the one thing is giving at bats away. Knowing that you had a good game going, and all of a sudden it became a blowout. You swung at the first pitch. You got away from your game plan.
Almost taking the game for granted to a certain extent. That one's pulled down the right field line by Herrera, and it will go foul. And he may need a new bat. Dendecker will track it down. Joe Ross chatting with Max Scherzer, who will start tomorrow, and Steven Strasburg. Scherzer against Aaron Nola tomorrow. Game time 7:05.
How's that pace going to be?
Quick.
Yes. See, Tom, I can say that the day before the game.
Mm-hmm.
Because the baseball gods will not go out and get you and say, okay, this is going to be a long game because I said it. But it's a day notice. We're fine.
There's a time limit, like within 12 hours or so.
Absolutely.
Dougal stays alive. Joe West's not going to be happy. He's already
It's a foul
asking.
ball. You're all right.
Look at Joe West. He's got his hands on his hips. Foul ball, and it remains 3-2. Eight pitches this at bat. He's fouled off 4. He singled tonight. He's walked. And ball 4, he walks again. And the Phillies have runners on first and third for Franco. Now Franco, back in the third inning, had the bases loaded, hit into a fielder's choice. At that point, it was 6-0. Got the sense that if he had a base hit there, the Phillies could have gotten on the board. I'm not saying they would have come from behind, but it would have energized things a little bit. But he hit into the fielder's choice. Last time up, he popped out to the catcher. Elvis Araujo is warming up in the bullpen. This one's on the infield, and Espinosa, the shortstop, will make the catch, and the side is retired. No runs, 1 hit, 2 men left. Joe Ross credited with no runs allowed. 9-0 Nationals. Because former Phil Marlin Anderson will break down today's series opener. Plus, hear reactions from Pete Mackanin on Cure Auto Insurance presents Phillies Post-Game Live. Some of the things you can do around the ballpark if you choose to. You get your family photo. Character artists are here at Citizens Bank Park, and they are outstanding. Here is Elvis Araujo, who last year had a 3.38 ERA in 34 2/3 innings of work. Elvis did not start the year with the Phillies, was brought up when Daniel Stumpf was suspended by Major League Baseball. So he'll pitch here in the top of the 9th inning. Hellickson went the first 3, allowed 5 earned runs and 7 hits. Then Brett Oberholzer, who went 4 innings, 7 hits, and 3 runs. And James Russell pitched a scoreless inning. Wilson Ramos will lead it off, and Araujo delivers low. No ball, no strikes. Elvis showed great flashes last year of being an effective pitcher here in the big leagues. That one's lined out toward left center field. Cedric Hunter will cut it off on the backhand, and Ramos is aboard with a leadoff single, his second hit. And Danny Espinosa will be next up. lot of responsibility that the Nationals are putting in the lap of Danny Espinosa to take over at shortstop. I mean, he played shortstop in college, but he also started his Nationals career in the minor leagues as a shortstop. Offensively, he was one of the better offensive second basemen in the National League.
What was it, 2011? He had a good year offensively.
He had a good year last year, home run wise.
Right.
But 2011, which was his second year, his first full year, he had 236, but had 21 home runs and 66 runs batted in. He's down on strikes, and there's one away. Every time the Phillies pitchers retire, the opposition 1, 2, 3. Comcast will make a contribution to Phillies charities. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. Heisey takes outside, his first at bat of the night. Saw Travis Jankowski this past weekend for the this past week for the Padres from Lancaster. And Chris Heisey was born in Lancaster. Went to Messiah College, where he tore it up. He's a good extra man, though. He was for the Reds, he was for the Dodgers, and now for the Nationals.
Good extra guy because he knows his role. He accepts his role, and he goes about his business and prepares differently than the majority of guys.
How about his service time? He's almost 6 years in at this point. Last year, 33 games for the Dodgers. He hit just $182. But with the Reds, during his 5 years, he hit 1 year where he hit 18 home runs. Swing and a miss, and he struck out. Back-to-back strikeouts for Araujo. And Michael Taylor is coming up. By the way, I saw Ben Revere in the dugout today for the Nationals, so he must be hanging with the team as he gets himself back. The ball's 2 strikes, and strike 3 called. Taylor can't believe it. 3 straight strikeouts for Araujo after the leadoff single. So we'll go to the bottom of the 9th inning here at Citizens Bank Park. And the Phillies have an awful lot of work to do. Mason deliveries of the game. There have been a number of them for the Nationals, particularly in the first inning.
Yeah, second pitch, a little slider down the middle. Fielder crushes it, gets on the board there, 1-0. Nice way to lead off the game. And then the sixth inning, Bryce Harper gets an off-speed pitch in that happy zone. It absolutely crushes that ball to right field. Those are your W.B. Mason deliveries of the game.
And you pointed out something that I think we'll keep an eye on as this series goes on, and maybe even as the season goes on, about Harper sitting on those off-speed pitches and breaking balls instead of the fastballs. Bottom half of the ninth inning, 9-0 Washington, and Ryan Howard will start it off for the Phils. It'll be Ryan Howard, then Carlos Ruiz against Yasmero Petit. Petit in relief of Joe Ross, who goes 7 2/3, allows 3 hits. Ball, 1 strike. Around baseball, we talked about the Braves being winless coming into tonight. Well, they are up 6-3 in the bottom of the 9th inning. They may not be winless anymore. And Howard launches one deep to right field. It is gone. 4th home run of the year for Ryan Howard. It's now a 9-1 ball game. Well, if there is a bright spot out of tonight's game, it's the fact that he's continued to hit the long ball. That now moves him into a tie with Joe DiMaggio on the all-time list with 361.
Unbelievable. He just made somebody very happy.
Yeah.
Nice to see. He's had 3 out of 4 good at bats. Harper's robbed him in right field, hit a line drive to first. This time here it's one into right field. Bleachers.
Makes a winner out of Brad Edwards of Linwood. He wins $100 thanks to Ryan Howard and the McDonald's home run jackpot. 361 career home runs for Howard. Joe DiMaggio. One now to Ruiz. And Carlos is retired by Stephen Drew. Well, here's the list. Joe DiMaggio. He thought it was cool when he tied Yogi Berra. Well, now he's ascending even more.
And Lance Berkman. Next on the division where he's going to catch him.
Cedric Hunter takes a strike. It's 0-1. Said something to Cedric Hunter before he went to the dugout. And Cedric lifts it in the air to shallow right field. Dendecker and Drew, and it's Dendecker. 2 outs. And that'll leave it for Peter Borges with 2 away here in the bottom of the 9th inning. It's interesting, you know, that Howard, you said hit the ball hard. He had some at bats tonight, just like yesterday, where he hit the ball hard. Lined out to first, lined out to right. I mean, that ball was smoked. He's only going to have the 1 hit to show for it, but
yeah, but it's a nice hit.
Well, and you
1 for 4 with a single.
You
or
hope it keeps leading the things.
Absolutely. I just like the fact that he ended up pulling a fastball to right field.
Cedric's talking to himself. He does have a hit tonight. 1 ball, 1 strike to Borges. Inside, 2-1.
I have no idea what Ryan was telling Cedric Hunter, but if anything, it was probably the delivery disguised as how hard he's throwing. He has a violent delivery, but it comes in at 90. So in other words, don't get caught up in the windup. You still have to see the ball when it comes out of the hand, then react.
Popped up over toward the Phillies dugout. Zimmerman speeds over, but he is out of room. Swing and a miss, and that's the ball game. The Nationals, in a resounding way, have defeated the Phillies 9-1 in the opener of this 3-game series here at Citizens Bank Park. Jason Worth had himself a big night. It started with a 3-run double in the first inning. He added another double a little later on, and that's all our player of the game, brought to you by Chevy Needed, and that's right-hander Joe Ross.
Yeah, very good control tonight. A slider. We mentioned it earlier that he had a good command of his fastball, but it was his slider that kept the hitters off balance. So on very good changeups as well. His slider was really late. It would start out at third, just off the plate, hitting the guy swinging over top pitch. That's why he's your Chevrolet player of the game.
So the Nationals win it 9-1. They're now 8-1 on the season. 9 runs on 16 hits. We will wrap things up from Citizens Bank Park when we return.